Hi, today is Friday, April 21st, 2017, and this is A Swede Speaks. And we should talk about Venezuela, because Venezuela is in a really sad state. And we should try to analyze and comment on why this is the case. And I would like to start by confessing something. I was a part of the left when the left were cheering for Chavez and pointing to Venezuela as a shining example of working socialism. Venezuela was their proof that okay, the Soviet Union didn't work out, and okay, Mao's China didn't work out, and North Korea wasn't good. And we kind of like Cuba, but we realized that something's not right there either. But hey, look at Venezuela. Look at the wonderful, prosperous, rich country of Venezuela and how nice they are to all their people. Which wasn't true even then, but it was easier for them to keep that illusion alive back then. Well, now Chavez is dead and Venezuela is in a terrible state. Let's just look at some of the events from the last month, or well, yeah, from the last about 35 days, I think I should say. In March, 4 bakers were arrested in Venezuela for making brownies. Instead of, instead of making bread, they were making brownies, so they were arrested. And yesterday, it was revealed that General Motors halted their operations in Venezuela, and their plants has been seized. There's a little confusion if it was seized directly by some workers or if it was by the government. I think it was the government. The news on this are a little confusing. And about 10 days ago, protesters against the socialist government of Venezuela, and even a hospital, mind you, was tear gassed. And Wednesday morning, 2 days ago, a young man who took part in protests against Venezuela's socialist government was killed by gunshot. And to add to this, yesterday the Danish Jyllands-Posten, which might be the best newspaper in Scandinavia when it comes to reporting on international news. As long as you're able to read Danish, you should read it. At least the international news section. They reported that over 70% of the Venezuelans lost in average 19 pounds the last year. And they were not on a diet. They were starving. The people of Venezuela is starving and they are suffering. And some of them, I don't know how many, but some of them are seeing what's going on and they don't like it. And they are realizing that this socialist experiment is failing big time and it's failing them big time. It just makes their lives miserable. It makes everything worse for them. And I mean, what can you say? Should we be surprised? Sadly, I'm not surprised. I mean, since I left the left, fighting socialism has been one of the things I've been doing. I mean, together with fighting all the other toxic ideas of the left, their economic theories are still crazy too, and that has to be fought. And what Venezuela shows clearly is that this is what happens when you have socialism in a country. You could say the welfare states of Scandinavia. What about Sweden and Denmark and Norway and Finland? Well, the thing with the Nordic welfare states is that they are not full-blown socialism. They have gone to some stage of that development. That's true, and that's why, for instance, the Swedish economy is doing so bad. And when they're saying that, well, Sweden's economy is doing great, well, actually, the GDP of Sweden is inflated because Swedes are among the most indebted people when it comes to private debt in the Western world. But when Swedes takes up loans, it will increase the GDP. So anyway, even the not full-blown socialist countries like Sweden and Denmark, I mean, it's still declining. So they are not good examples either. But when they really try to launch socialism somewhere, it always fails. It's always miserable. It turns into slaughter. It turns into starvation. And take a look at Venezuela. Take a look at Cuba. Take a look at North Korea. Take a look at what went on before in China, in Vietnam, in Cambodia, in the Soviet Union, in DDR, the German so-called Democratic Republic, also known as East Germany. Take a look at Albania. I could go on almost forever. Show me one socialist experiment that worked out fine, that did what socialists said it would do, and that made people happy, wealthy, well-fed, and secure, and didn't make them fearing for speaking up. Show me one example of that. So, I mean, it's really sad what's going on in Venezuela, and it just has to be pointed out again and again and again. And I would like to know, when are the left going to protest against the political violence in Venezuela? When will they protest against Maduro? I mean, they are happy to protest against Trump any day. We know this. When will they protest against Maduro? Or do they think it doesn't really matter because he's still one of them, and they'd rather just not speak so much about it? Because I have noticed the few left-wing people I have left that I'm following on social media, they are not saying a word about Venezuela anymore. When things were going good in Venezuela, because socialism might work out fine to begin with, until the effects start kicking in. Because first, socialism, of course, they will just use up all their resources. And I mean, Venezuela should be a rich country. They got lots of oil. And I'd also like to say this. Natural resources is a good thing. It's a good thing for a country to have natural resources. But look at some of the richest countries in the world. Switzerland. What kind of natural resource do they have? They make watches. Okay, they have their banking business too. But I mean, what's their resource? Their resource is the Swiss people. And I'm not meaning anything ethnical or racial now. I'm just saying because Switzerland has a free market economy. At least overwhelmingly. I mean, of course, there will be some elements of socialism there too. But it's not close to what we got in Scandinavia, and even further away from Venezuela and Cuba. So it would be nice to see if the socialists or some part of the left is going to demonstrate against Maduro and his starvation policies and his killing policies. It would be really nice to see that. I won't hold my breath though. And that's what I have to say about this right now. I would like to thank everyone who's supporting this channel, both when it comes to prayers, when it comes to financial support in the form of Patreon and PayPal. And I would also like to add that I've been trying out some new software recently, and it seems like this software doesn't work well with my laptop's webcam, so I'm using my old software instead right now. And I would like to thank people who have pointed out this to me. So I'm also happy for the technical comments or support or whatever I should call it, but thank you for letting me know so that I can work on improving things. So my next investment, which will happen next week, because you know it's Friday today, I'm not going downtown today, and I'm busy during the weekend. I don't have time for it during the weekend, but next week my first investment will be a new webcam, that I will try out and see if I can get that to work better with the other software that I think is probably better than this one, but I will use this one right now until I figured things out. So thank you for that. And if you like this channel, please subscribe so you don't miss anything. If you got something to say, please comment. If you like this video, please like it. And I would also like to ask you to share my videos on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, wherever. because I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers, and it's getting closer. I need 54 more subscribers to reach 1,000, and 1,000 will be a real milestone for me, because this channel is only a little more than 3 months old. So if I can reach 1,000, that would be great. And I thank you for all help and support. And also, I would like to ask you to encourage you to support this channel. And I will include all the necessary information in the information box below. This is A Swede Speaks. Have a nice day.